I feel like this is more of our dignified series. Like it's
I assume we're going to talk more serious about it, but I have a feeling things are going to get a little wild because it's you and me.
A little wild bunch.
Different movie.
I don't know.
Whoa! Oh. Hey guys, you're here for our first rewind.
Yep.
And we're picking one of the best movies ever made.
It's a movie. I mean, it's a great movie.
It's a great, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like my best movie ever made.
But to a lot of people,
yes.
Like our parents, maybe. Our grandparents for sure.
Our great-grandparents.
People that love Westerns.
Yeah.
This is definitely like a...
Right up their alley.
But also people that were sort of like into indie movies back then.
Yeah. Filmmaking.
Yeah, like film
buffs.
Yeah.
Early film buffs.
50 years ago, this movie was released. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Mm-hmm.
In 1969.
That's when men went to the moon.
Yeah. It was a wild year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I wasn't alive.
I wasn't either. Speaking of being alive.
Yeah.
My first thought about this movie, anytime I watch a Western, is, man, it looks pretty cool to be in a Western, but also I bet it sucked.
No. That's the thing about Westerns is like they always like, oh, this is cool, gun shooting and robbing and just living life. And then you're just like, no.
Yeah.
There's dirt in your boot constantly.
Yep.
You're wearing the same clothes probably 14 days in a row.
Gross.
You're taking bath in like dirty water.
Yeah. Or even not just like dirty, just like a pond.
Yeah. And technically soap and stuff was kind of like new back then.
Yeah.
So it's like.
But man, is Robert Redford handsome.
Oh my God.
And Paul Newman.
I forgot how handsome these guys were.
These dudes, they're like the George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Oh my God. That's true.
The 60s.
And especially even when Robert Redford, as old as he is now, you're just like, man, that's a good-looking old dude.
Still old. It's like I wouldn't say it's like a fine wine. I mean, he's definitely way better looking as a younger man.
Yeah. He's fermented into the right sauce.
And Paul Newman, those piercing eyes.
Oh man, those eyes are just...
He's so cool.
I guess we should explain the plot for anybody who's not watched it. It's based off of the tales of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, who were, as most people were back in whenever America expanded westward. You have all these tales about all these gunslingers and bank robbers, but Butch Cassidy and Sundance were perhaps two of the most famous.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like Western movies.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite genre, but I do love Westerns like that. I love like gritty Westerns. You're like, like The Man with No Name.
Yeah.
Like the new 310 to Yuma, the new True Grit, or like the Searchers, they're gritty, and they really like say something, and that's why I love that. Like this movie, it's not even about them robbing banks.
No.
You see a lot of robbing in montages, but it's like that's not they're never like, we got to get the next big score.
Yeah.
It really is just like them kind of, what do we do with our lives?
Yeah,
and
they're trying to figure out where to go next. Well, Sundance isn't really over it, but he also doesn't want to run.
Yeah.
So that's basically the
He doesn't want to die.
Sundance doesn't want to die running, and Butch just doesn't want to die, period.
Yeah.
And he's old, he's getting older, but man, he just knows how to play these cool characters that are fast talkers and smooth talkers.
Yeah. Well, I love that this movie it's just like about, it can be seen as like death coming for you or like the future. Mm-hmm. Because even when they're being there's that long like series of scenes where it's just them running from that posse, and it really does feel like they're just trying to get like one step ahead. And even in the beginning when Butch's gang is trying to be taken over by Lurch, it's even that he's like, we're tired of the way you're doing things, and he's like, well, I'm not giving up yet.
Yeah.
And he's cool in that moment, but it's also a little, you're like, I kind of get where these guys are coming from.
Yeah.
Like you can't rob banks anymore. They're too fancy now. They got saved.
They're too dignified.
Yeah.
The characters are only the important people. So you got Butch, you got Sundance,
and
Etta. But like the people chasing Butch and Sundance, you never see them
which
up
is
close.
Awesome.
And that's what makes it so dreadful about these guys coming after him. You just hear about them.
Yeah.
You don't ever see them. You see the hat. you see the hat from
and
like,
you don't even know if that's like really him either,
exactly,
you
yeah.
know?
It's like, oh, I see a white hat, kinda,
Yeah.
because it's shot from like 100 miles away.
Or even like when they're in Bolivia and they see it again, and you're like,
Oh my
we
God.
still don't. They're like, that could be him. Like,
Yeah.
well, we gotta go then.
The cinematography of this is beautiful, and the way it's edited, and the sound editing even is interesting. But you know, George Roy Hill had this great rapport with Paul Newman and Robert Redford. They ended up doing this thing together, which is another classic. It's sort of an art house movie.
Yeah.
It really is, because you got raindrops keep falling on my head, just pop up in the
Which
middle.
you know, that's, I don't know what to think about it. It's like, it's awesome, but at the same time, I'm like, it's super weird.
It's such a weird thing for a Western movie to do, but when you think of like the landscape of cinema in the late 60s and early 70s,
Oh yeah.
it's like ahead of its time. There's a scene where the explosion happens, the huge explosion happens, which is like great. It's like the stunt guys probably died on scene.
I mean, they were super close to fire.
There's just like this heavy breathing you hear before the other train comes up.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow, the editing of the sound and just the actual editing is not something you see in modern filmmaking.
Well, even it's hard to catch because sometimes it looks so like they're just painting across, but those transitions where they're riding in like the woods and it kind of, they go into darkness for a second and then it goes into like another kind of Western scene that they're in, you know, and it's so subtle. It's not like it's woods to town. It's like woods to like more woods and a river, but it's still that kind of like, it makes it look like it's one shot. It's very, and I don't know, and it kind of just makes it feel longer too. And this movie, like nothing really, things happen, but nothing really happens, which is, I'm sure, kind of jarring for some Western viewers. And when they're just like, there's a hero, and they're like, well, these are heroes kind of done with their life, you know? It's just that kind of, it feels like a road trip movie too. You know? Like I know
when I think of Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, I think of a road trip movie.
It kind of bends that genre. It's like Western and art house, but also this like buddy movie. His smile, that jacket. I mean, come on.
We could do like a 20-minute video just on Robert Redford.
Like, I'm fine with that. But yeah, they're cool. They're just like, you want to be these two guys, even though like in the end you're like, you never say they're terrible people, but they're dudes who are like, you find out are way out of their element.
They bought into their own hype, basically.
Yes.
It's like whenever Drake released like his first songs and he thought he was cool.
Yeah.
But then he had to work for it. You have to work for it after.
He did start from the bottom.
Yeah,
you know?
but now he's here.
He's right here. He's over here.
Drake, what's up?
Drake, what are your thoughts on Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid? Controversial.
Wow.
We had to cut it out.
Hot take.
That is such a great moment where, sorry, spoiler for this 50-year-old movie, when you come to the realization that Butch has never killed someone, like even shot someone.
He has always lived off his own mythos, and now he's confronted with like trying to be a good person, and he has to actually kill somebody, because if he doesn't kill them, they're going to kill him.
Yeah.
The end of the movie is just like absolutely great. The movie had to end at the climax to keep the mythos of Butch and Sundance alive. And so what happens is, if you've never seen the movie,
you've definitely seen the ending.
You've seen
it's everywhere.
The whole Bolivian army surrounds them, and they're just like, man, I thought we were in trouble for a second. I really thought we were having some bad times. And then you come out, and then it does a freeze frame as they're both like on the guns.
It's so good.
And it's great because the moment it pauses is, you could tell that Robert Redford is in character because he's still ready to fight. Yeah. But Butch, it's like it freezes right as his eyes start opening up a little bit, and he's like, oh day. It's a perfect example of YOLO.
You only live once.
You only live once. Drake, thank you for that suggestion.
Yes, thank you. You think about The Graduate and how like excited you are when they're running away. Oh yeah. And then they sit on the bus and then you just kind of, it sinks in. Man. I love that this movie, it doesn't go fully that way. It's like, like they're definitely dead. Yeah. But then when it freeze frames, like, maybe they're not dead.
Maybe they made it. But that's the legend of like these cowboys, is you don't ever know what the true story ever is. Yeah. And I like how it plays with that. It's like, so even like when they jump from sepia tone to like color and back to sepia tone, it's like you never really truly understand what is real and what is fiction.
Yeah, that montage.
Oh, man.
Sometimes it's like it's a great movie,
Yeah.
but then I was like, there's a montage in the middle where they travel from wherever they are to New York and then to Bolivia, and it is like 5 minutes long, all in sepia tone. It's like an extended version of the Cheers theme.
Yeah.
But instead, it'd be like if the Cheers theme, you like pan across his pictures, and then Ted Danson's like in the middle of it. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Watch it with your dad. Watch it with your mom. Yeah. Watch it with your cat.
Watch it with your dog.
Well, my dog would bark at the horses, so just...
Oh, well, my dog doesn't really watch TV, so he's more of a book reader.
How do we end it?
Well, you know how we have to end it. There's only one way it can be ended.
Are we good?
Yeah, you ready?
Yep.
Go.